Rachel can't have kids. Except she does. After many years of trying, she does have a baby. That is Joseph. And Joseph is Jacob's favorite because he's the son of Jacob's favorite wife. All the other brothers just like, do their own thing. They till the fields. They do the same work, but Joseph is Jacob's favorite. His brothers don't like that. His brothers were super jealous, as the story goes, and I guess they met some merchants, some slave merchants, because there's a lot of slavery here. So the brothers are like, let's get rid of Joseph. And they sell him to the slave people. Joseph is taken to Egypt, where he subsequently saves everybody. But the moral of the story is love all your children equally. Potiphar is the dude who bought Joseph, and Joseph was an excellent slave who was risen up in the household. The thing is, Potiphar's wife had falsely accused Joseph of sexual assault because she wanted to hook up with him, and he was like, no, you're married and not to me. And she was mad about that. Potiphar believed his wife over a slave, so poor Joseph gets sent to prison. Yeah, it's a rough road. There's a whole song about it in the movie where he's super mad in prison and he climbs up on the rocks and he's like, God, why would you do this to me? And then he falls off the rocks and hits his head and just like lays on the floor of the prison for a bit and humbles himself and is like, God knows what's going on. I don't. I just need to trust God in my circumstances until he is useful. God gives him this ability to interpret dreams, and Pharaoh keeps having this dream, which I guess is from God because it's like foretelling this thing, but the Pharaoh doesn't know what it means. He just keeps having these nightmares. And Pharaoh has two dreams. The first one, there are 7 cattle, and the cattle are strong and fat and well-fed. They are very happy cattle with full bellies. And then 7 sickly, emaciated cows come in and they just swallow up all the healthy cows, but they still are emaciated. And Pharaoh is like, that's weird. And then he has another dream where there are 7 stalks of corn. The first 7 corn stalks are beautiful and full of corn. They've grown very tall, they're green. And then 7 sickly, withered stalks come up and choke the life out of the healthy stalks of corn, except that it doesn't make the other stalks any better. Kind of the same thing has happened with the cows. Feed the corn to the cow. Brilliant. Oh, it's grain, not corn, because they wouldn't have had corn. I was like, why would it be corn stalks? Corn stalks come from the New World, like North and South America. Why would they? It was grain, but I said corn. I messed it up, okay? Anyway, I'm not a biblical scholar. Pharaoh's like, this feels important, but this is also really weird. And so Pharaoh calls all his magicians and his dream interpreters. Oniromancy is like the study of the interpretation of dreams. I have a YouTube video about sleep too that talks about dreams. Anyway, Pharaoh calls up all of his smart people and his magicians and his wise men, and he's like, dude, what does this mean? I keep having these dreams. This feels important, but I have no idea what's going on. Interpret this. And all the wise men are like, bro, I have no idea. That's weird. So Potiphar, who is a buddy of Pharaoh's, is like, I know a guy who might know what's going on in your dreams. I did put him in prison. Pharaoh's like, bring your friend in here. Bring your friend in here. I want to know what this dream means, and none of my wise men can tell me. Why do I even have you guys here? Again, I'm paraphrasing. This is not a direct quote from the Bible. Joseph is brought before Pharaoh. Pharaoh's like, all right, man, these are my dreams. What is going on? Joseph, from like revelation that God tells him, is like, all right, man, the dreams mean the same thing. We see the repeating themes here, right, Pharaoh? The 7 healthy cows and the 7 healthy stalks of grain. These are 7 years of plenty. Everybody's crops are gonna flourish. Everybody's gonna have plenty of food. Everything's gonna be super great for 7 years. But Pharaoh, he's like, we got the 7 unhealthy cows, the 7 emaciated cows and the 7 unhealthy stalks, and just exactly, yes. So, after that, 7 years of famine coming up next. Those will consume all of the good from the 7 years of plenty. So here's what we gotta do. We gotta do food storage. So Pharaoh's like, oh, this dude's got good ideas. Make him important. Make him not a slave anymore. He's gonna help me with this whole food storage thing. So they do. They get everybody, they're like, okay guys, so all of your crops, we're gonna need to tax you a little more on them because we are storing up food because there's gonna be a famine. I know because God told me, don't question it. So they do, and when the famine hits, Egypt has supplies. And they're doing so well, in fact, with their food storage that people from other lands start coming over to Egypt to buy food from them because everybody else is starving in the famine. Viceroy. Oh, that sounds right. I heard it in Star Wars.
You will not be so pleased when you hear what I have to say, Viceroy.
So people come over, and guess who shows up? But Joseph's brothers, the ones who sold him into slavery in the first place. Oh, and also there's another brother now who was born while Joseph was gone. He's Rachel's son, but Rachel also died giving birth to him, so that kind of sucks. Jacob's pretty bummed about that, but he sent the brothers, because Jacob's old by now, he sent his sons, except Benjamin, because Benjamin's on the young side, and also Jacob wants to protect him, because now Benjamin's his favorite son. So the other brothers come by and they're like, hey man, we like get some food, we have money to pay you for it. And Joseph's like, hello, I have never seen you before in my life. Let me talk to my supervisor. He's the supervisor though, so Joseph decides to test them. Because he's like, I don't want to give them food if they're still jerks. So he's like, hey, do you have any other family back home? And the brothers are like, yeah, our dad's super old, and then we have like one more brother back there. He's our dad's favorite. He had another favorite, but anyway, yeah, we got dad and one other brother and I guess 3 other moms. Joseph's like, bring back this other brother, prove it. And the brothers are like, how does this prove anything? Like, we just want some food, we're gonna pay for it. And Joseph's like, bring back the other brother. And they're like, okay man, they don't have much other choice, there's a famine. Back they go home, they make the whole journey. And Joseph's like, all right, Joseph has thought all of this out. I feel like he thought it out while he was enslaved. You know, we all think about things to get through tough times. The brothers are like, well, we don't have much other choice. And Jacob's like, dude, we can't. Why would you bring Benjamin? It's dangerous. What if he dies? He's my favorite, not you guys. The brothers are like, you will only give us the food if we bring Benjamin. And the alternative is dying of starvation. So Jacob's like, okay, but if he dies, I'm gonna be real mad at you guys. So they bring back Benjamin. Joseph's like, cool, my only full brother. All right, so it seems you were telling the truth. That's dope, guys, come in. We will feast and party because you guys seem really cool and not because you're my brothers. So they have a feast and everything's awesome. And Joseph's like, yeah, I'll give you guys the food now, no problem. Here we go, fill up all your bags with all these grains so you won't starve to death. Actually, have my servants do it. Here, give them your bags and just come hang out with me. So they hang out for a while the grain is getting put in their bags. And Joseph tells the servants, okay, when you go and put the grain in their bags, put one of my fancy cups in this one, in Benjamin's bag, okay? Don't tell them, this is a secret. I have something going on, just trust me. And the servants don't question it, like, they're probably slaves. He's like, put this cup in there, don't tell them. They get some grain, it's all good. And then Joseph sets the stage. One of you guys has stolen from me. How dare you? After I saved your entire family's lives by giving you our food that we stockpiled and you didn't, we were prepared and you didn't, one of you has stolen from me? Who do you think you are? Cut open their bags and see. So the servants like cut open their bags and look, and in Benjamin's bag is the cup. And Benjamin's like, I did not do that. And the brother's like, and Joseph's like, all right, he's staying here. I'm enslaving him as payment for stealing from me. And the brother's like, no, don't do that. Look, he is our father's favorite. His mother died. Our father loved his mother most of all. Take one of us instead. Don't make him stay here. Don't take him from our father. He's so old, it will destroy him. And then Joseph sees that their hearts have changed and they're willing to sacrifice themselves, their own freedom for Benjamin. You know, his methods are, in terms of emotional health and relationships, a little questionable, but it works. And Joseph's like, nah, I'm just kidding. You guys come stay here and eat all the food you want. Go back and get dad. I'm your brother. Guess what? I didn't die in slavery. And the brothers are like, hey. So they go back and get Jacob, and everybody comes up to Egypt where there's enough food and everything is awesome for a little bit. Moses! We're in Exodus by now. Guys, we went through all of Genesis narratively. Prince of Egypt, every song and that is a masterpiece. All of the Israelites are vibing in Egypt, and then the Egyptians start to get kind of racist. And so they enslave them. The Israelites are having a bad time. And they're like, we don't want to be here anymore. And there's a whole song about it where it's like, deliver us, boom, boom. And the drums are so intense. Man, I love Prince of Egypt. God's like, hey, Yocheved, I got a plan to get everybody out of slavery, and it involves your son. I'm gonna need you to make a basket, put him in it, and then just put the basket in the river. Pharaoh's daughter is bathing in the river, and she sees this basket. There's a baby inside. It's like, all right, I guess this baby's mine now. I'm gonna name him Moses. Like the worst you're adopted story ever. Moses he's grappling with this, and then he kills the guy. And then Moses is like, I just murdered someone. While he is running away in the desert, God speaks to him through the burning bush.